Welcome to the Refine and Shine, the podcast dedicated to mastering the art of continuous improvement and optimizing every aspect of your life. I'm Angelina Rivera, your host, and together we'll uncover the secrets to refining our lives, our habits, and our processes to unlock our inner brilliance. Join us on Refine and Shine, where we'll delve deep into achieving more in life without the burnout and without all the stress. This podcast is your platform for a more fulfilling life through continuous improvement and personal growth. In each episode, I and a diverse array of guests discuss practical strategies for up-leveling every aspect of your life. From developing good habits and organizing your space to refining your mindset and personal goals, we're going to explore it all. Our guests share personal stories about the systems they've developed or systems they've used and the tweaks they've made in their lives when refinement was needed, allowing them to truly shine. Listen to Refine and Shine to learn how you can implement continuous improvement techniques in your daily routine, develop and maintain healthy habits that lead to success and satisfaction, organize your life to reduce the stress and increase your productivity, foster a growth mindset that propels you to new heights. My mission is to inspire you to take bold action, make positive changes, and become the best version of yourself. Whether you're aiming to elevate your career, nurture meaningful relationships, or enhance your overall well-being, Refine and Shine is your guiding light. With over 25 years of experience in continuous improvement, I help businesses streamline their processes, establish efficient work areas, and implement standard work protocols. I have trained over 600 individuals and teams in process improvement, optimizing workflows, and enhancing overall operational efficiency. Tune in every week as we embark on an enlightening journey, exploring paths to refinement and illuminating the way to shine in every area of our lives. Subscribe now and join us on this journey to polish your life and let your best self shine through. Thank you for joining us on Refine and Shine.
ADP knows anything can change the world of work. Like, what if a blocked shipping port caused a worldwide coffee shortage? Suddenly, businesses are scrambling to manage an increasingly drowsy workforce. Productivity slips 20% just due to the extended time it takes to conduct a job interview while yawning. Anything can change the world of work. From HR to payroll, ADP helps businesses take on the next anything. ADP, always designing for people.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Refine and Shine podcast. I'm super excited for my guest today. Her name is Bridget Bennett, and she is a devoted mother of four. She has four amazing children. She is a professional paralegal with 21 years of experience and is a proud custody battle survivor, which I can't wait to dive into. Through her company, Breaking Badass Coaching, she helps parents navigate high conflict custody battles, deal with narcissistic exes, and face court systems that are often seem to work against those that they are meant to protect. Having walked this difficult path herself, Bridget knows exactly how to guide others through the challenges and emotions that come with it. She stands with those who have been labeled too emotional, too angry, or too crazy for daring to speak the truth in rooms that too often reward the silence. So thank you, Bridget, for being my guest today.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Wow, I just was reading through that again, and I'm like, I know that so many people can relate to being called too emotional, too crazy, too angry, all the things. And now you're coaching people, you're helping people, and you also are a proud custody survivor. So kind of just walk us through your journey and how you got to where you were to where you are today.
Yeah, it's a job that I did not find myself ever thinking I would have. I've just this is a job that's found me versus me finding it. I started out, I've been through the family court system since I was a little kid. I'm a child of divorced parents, and I was raised in a narcissistic family system that, kind of set me up for preparing me to find a narcissistic partner. I had been married twice, and I've divorced two high conflict narcissistic exes. Both were very abusive. And, the second time that I had gone through my divorce, that last relationship lasted about 10 years. Had two beautiful kids from that marriage. I have four kids that are they're wonderful human beings. I would never do any part of my life over again, nor would I ever select a different dad for my kids. But the thing is, I think that after going through that experience and going through divorce, going through the family court system, I didn't have any money. I was a broke single mom. Knowing what I know as a paralegal, even though I had never worked in the family court system or through family law, I figured, you know what? This is my only chance. I have to do this myself because no one's going to bail me out. And I did. I filed for divorce on my own. I filed for custody, modification later, contempt, a protective order, all these things, right? It took me years of building myself up to get there. But I made it, and it was several years of a battle in family court. But I have sole custody of my kids, and they're great. They're living their best lives, and they're thriving and they're surviving. More than just like the everyday high school and middle school adventures, right? They're doing amazing things, and makes me really happy.
I love that. I love that. So you were already a paralegal, but in a different aspect, and then you had to navigate into family law because family law is quite different. Actually, when I was a student, I was a student intern for the courthouse through the summer. They had a summer youth program, and I did family law when I was 14 and 15. I used to work there. And the family law and how you had to file and all the paperwork is a lot different than just a civil case or even, other cases, criminal cases, custody, not custody, but probate, all of the other things. It's a lot different. So it's a lot of patience, and you have to really make sure that you're filling out everything correctly, right?
Yes.
Really reading through the things. And you had to do the filing for divorce. You did it all by yourself both times?
I did. I did. And custody, the last time that I went through this, the first time I went through it with my daughters, um, I was still married. I was married to ex-husband number two. And his mom actually pushed me to get an attorney. And I had some support then, right? I had support of them because we had a common enemy. That was about $10,000+ for me to get the exact same result that I would have gotten on my own, which was dad having like every other weekend and like a dinner visit, right? So quickly from that, I learned a lot about family court, and I learned about what they will accept and what they won't. And in that first case, a judge said to me, "Do I have to teach the two of you how to be adults?" And that was just like mind blowing, opened my eyes. I did not expect that to happen because I was not driving the conflict. It was my ex, but I was really focused. I was hyper focused on all these little details that in the end didn't matter. And this judge didn't care that, he had domestic violence charges from me years and years ago. He's like, "Oh, that was so long ago. Oh, it doesn't matter. Why didn't you share with him that your girl is allergic to penicillin? Like, that's a you problem. You should have told dad." I'm like, so I learned a lot of things of, the importance of being a good co-parent in the worst of circumstances. And I use that word co-parenting with my clients, with my content, everything that I do, not because we're actually co-parenting, but that's because family court expects us to, right? So we have to look like the best damn co-parent in the entire world, even though we're like parallel parenting.
Yes, yes. Can you explain a little bit, like when you talk about like the co-parenting, like when they expect you to do that? Because when you're constantly showing that you're fighting and all these other things, they're like, these people can't make the agreements. And they get actually angry, right? Frustrated, like the judge got frustrated with things. And so what does it look like to be a co-parent or, even though parallel parenting, like what is the things that we have to kind of look out for or try to guide? How do you guide people to being a good co-parent?
Yeah. So, one of the first things that I tell my clients that I'm coaching is it's important for us to share information, right? If you're getting, the kid has a physical, you took them to a physical, took them to a dental appointment, send an update to the other parent. Let them know what's going on, right? I often have had some pushback from people because the internet is full of people, but I get pushback of like, I'm not their secretary. I shouldn't have to do this. They have equal access. While that is true, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be sharing the information, right? Well, they don't share information with me. Just because they're not doing it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. And ultimately, what we end up doing is we're showcasing our good behavior and our good qualities and skills of we're sharing information. We are effectively communicating with this person. We are not engaging in the conflict. And it helps to showcase their poor or shitty behavior, right? And I see that and it works time and time again. You're still doing what you're supposed to do and what in our minds we believe is good co-parenting, even though we're not getting anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's kind of like radically accepting. This person is not going to be who I want them to be. They're not going to parent the way that I'm expecting them to or hoping they will. And letting go of that. Knowing that there's only so much that you can control, and that's yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that. And I think that applies to so many, like everything, right? Like not our everyday lives, regardless if you're trying to go through and navigate a divorce or custody battle, but just in the fact that effective communication is so important throughout whatever we do, everyday lives. Communication's important, and it goes to the same thing as like I think about leadership. Like when people say, "Well, my boss didn't tell me this," or "My boss," like sharing that information. Like you can't expect people to do what if you think they're not going to do it. Well, go ahead and still do what you think is right. And two wrongs don't make a right, right? So withdrawing or withholding stuff, it's just not good leadership styles, right? And you want to lead others how you expect your others to be like lead and treated as you would expect yourselves to be treated, like that golden rule, right? And so I think that that's really important. Communication, like sharing the information, is just easy. It's easier to do it to say, yes, I did share this. I gave you this information. Here's the doctor note visits. Here is the calendar of when we're going to these set appointments or whatnot. Because then you can't, and then I say, well, I didn't know, I didn't check. Well, then that's on them that they didn't check. That's on them that they didn't read the information. But you did your due diligence. I think that's important. And so tell us, through this, you teach them to make sure that they're sharing, communicating. What is the best way to do that when you don't always have somebody who is going to, is it through email or what's the best thing? And I know every situation is a little differently, but I think the most effective way is to have it documented, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, the best advice that I give everybody at the beginning is make sure that all communication is only in writing. We're not going to have any in-person conversations with this person. We're not going to have phone calls with this person. I prefer to use apps like our Family Wizard or Talking Parents. Talking Parents has been my preference. And it's actually an app that you can utilize through the website, through the web browser on your phone without having to pay for the service every single month. And a lot of people don't know that. It does have a calendar, you can share information, but using what I call it's called BIF communication, which means brief, informative, friendly, and firm. I did not create this. It's actually created by Bill Eddy. He trained me from the High Conflict Institute. And what it does is, it takes us into a different mindset. Instead of, being very colloquial in terms of our messages, most of us are used to texting, which is just, short, quick sentences. We want to put a salutation into it, like, "Hi, John." That is the friendly part of it. And end with "Thanks, Bridget," right? Something as simple as that actually really turns things around. And over time, we see the high conflict parent or the ex, they start to mirror that same communication pattern and style. So over time, we see a de-escalation of conflict. There's still high conflict and they're still creating it, but their way that they're communicating is different. We're informative, we're sharing information, we're wanting to send a few sentences, not long, lengthy, ranty paragraphs. We don't want to respond to everything that they said in their message to us that's not relevant. We don't want to defend ourselves. We don't want to attack them. We don't want to provide any kind of admonishments or ever an apology. If you do those things, if you give advice, admonishments, or any apology, the three A's, the triple A's, you're going to find yourself where the high conflict person never lets that go. Or they're going to push this narrative of, you're controlling me, you're doing this. That's why we don't give advice. Okay. So it's learning a new communication style. There's a great book by Bill Eddy. It is called Biff. Anybody can get it off of Amazon. And it's a great way to get you started, right? Learning how to effectively communicate with someone and then utilizing that same communication pattern, in the workplace, with others. It puts you in a different place, and it helps protect our energy and our peace, which is the most important thing.
I love that. I love that. Oh gosh, I can't wait. I'm gonna actually order that book myself because I think it's so, like you said, like it can help with anything, everything that we do. Communication is one of the great things, and I love how you said that once we learn how to effectively communicate, making sure that doesn't steal our energy and our peace, because that's important too. As so often we think about what others are like, what others are thinking about us, or the energy that we're projecting, or and all these other things. But if we just have peace, like we sent what we had to send, we were polite and get to the point, and not and be done with it, and that's it. It'll really help us with that calmness and helping us to focus our energy on things that bring us joy and excitement. But what I also loved about is like the three A's that you talked about, and making sure that we're not, we don't are not apologizing. I think you said showing any anger, and I forgot what the third one was.
And we don't want to give advice, right?
Advice.
Saying something like, our daughter's bedtime is at 7 p.m. at my house, right? Like telling them what to do. You never want to tell a high conflict or toxic person what to do because it will play into their narrative of you're controlling, and they're really good at making it appear that you are. So we want to avoid those things. We can share information of, hey, the kiddo's bedtime at my house is 7 p.m. She seems to be doing well with that schedule, and leaving it alone. You don't have to tell them, please put her to bed at this time, right? That is where the parallel parenting comes into place. We cannot expect a high conflict person to do the same things in their home on their parenting time that we're doing on ours, right? And vice versa.
Feeling overwhelmed by endless to-do lists and constant distractions? You're not alone. Many professionals and entrepreneurs struggle with never-ending tasks that spill into personal time, difficulty prioritizing what's truly important, a lack of clear structure in their daily routines. Well, let me introduce you to your Unlock Your Time Potential program, an 8-week coaching program designed to help you reclaim your time and boost productivity. What you will gain is proven strategies to manage your day effectively, techniques to eliminate distractions and stay focused, tools to align your daily actions with your long-term goals. Ready to take control of your time? Join the waitlist today and be the first to know when enrollment opens. Don't miss the opportunity to transform your productivity and achieve your goals. Check out the link in the summary notes.
That's awesome. I think that's really helpful. And so how do you help people with your coaching and stuff like that? I mean, you show them how to talk and, and do these type of concepts. Is there anything else that you, with the paperwork, helping them fill out the paperwork as well? And
I provide a lot of legal strategy. I have helped people review drafts of interrogatories, right? Request for production of documents known as discovery, filing for modification, filing for contempt, restraining orders, emergency custody. I mean, you've named it, I've probably helped file it I want to say close to all 50 states in this country, but that's not true. I have not helped anybody in Alaska, but pretty much every other state I've had a client at some point or another in my career. And, just giving them the advice, showing them where they can find the information themselves. These are things that family law attorneys are not telling you, right? A lot of our local county courthouse websites, depending on where you live, if you're in, more of a middle range population of a city, you're going to find that this information's online. They have a lot of forms that you can access, you can fill out, And it's all about learning and figuring out the things on your own, right? Knowledge is truly power when you are dealing with somebody that is high conflict, narcissistic, as many call them, um, because they're going to try to bleed you dry financially. So the more that you do on your own, the more effective you're going to be. And I mean, I've seen many people that are pro se, including myself. You're representing yourself, no attorney, who were successful more so than they would have been with an attorney.
Mm. Yeah, it's so important. I think that's one of the things that people get so scared when they to leave I'll say abusers,
Yes.
or high conflict partner, whatever they are, is
Mhm.
because they're scared of being able to leave the situation, and because they are scared and getting threatened. If you leave me, I'm gonna pretty much bleed you dry. I'll
Mhm.
take everything. You're not going to be worth anything. All the other things that they say to people. Um, and so, with that being said, you offer a solution that doesn't have to be the high cost fees of an attorney. Like you said in the first case, you spent $10,000 for the same outcome as you just went and did it yourself. Yes, it takes a little bit of time, to do the research, get the knowledge and all of the things, but you help guide them and provide a service for them to help to go through these things.
I do, and I am more hands-on than attorneys, right? Most of my clients that work with me, especially with the communication coaching, they get access to me, right? They communicate with me by the phone, and I provide them some kind of like, I'm going to call it in real time coaching. When they need it the most, there might be a situation that's an emergency that's popped up, and I'll help them navigate that. But a lot of it is learning how to reframe things that we've told ourselves in our brain and moving to the next spot. Okay, how do I let go of this? How do I move on from here? Because of the fear that we have, I feel like a lot of us can feel almost like paralyzed from fear, but it's actually us putting up our own like self-protection type of mechanisms, thinking that we're going to keep ourselves safe, but we often fear itself, not knowing what the potential outcome could be. People are really surprised after they work with me, and they're like, oh my god, I wish I had found you 10 years ago. I wish I had known about this before. You've done more for me than my attorney. I hear this almost every single day. um, there is a different way of approaching these things. And I consider myself a coach. I always give this analogy. My job is to teach my clients how to ride a bicycle without training wheels, right? If I do not do that, then I am not an effective coach. My job is to teach you how to do these things after our time working together so that you then have the tools and the skill set to continue to do it on your own. And if people need to come back, and check in or have a little quick maintenance, then we do that. But all of my clients that I've worked with, I've been able to watch them ride off into the sunset, having a successful amount of skills to communicate effectively, knowing what to document, how to document, and preparing, building their case in family court.
Mhm. That's awesome. I love the how you said to ride the bike without the training wheels, and then if they need a little bit of maintenance, like because our bike will need maintenance, eventually, and how you're able to help provide that service, so to speak, through your services. I think that's amazing. And I love that you said you pretty much make yourself available to your clients so that way that you can help them if there's an emergency type of situation and things like that. Because majority of the time, like just about 6 months ago, I had to reach out to for an attorney, or I looked into an attorney for an issue, and they don't get back to you. You don't hear from
Mhm.
them. You have to fill out a form in hopes that they'll call you have to leave a message in hopes that they're going to call you back, and you might not hear back from them for and that's one thing that's kind of frustrating. And so with how do you vet your clients in, and how do you do your processing?
Yeah, most of my clients, almost all of them, come to me from social media. So from either TikTok or Instagram, they'll find me through there. They'll sometimes start off with a direct message to me. I have an amazing assistant. Her name is Sarah. She helps me with pushing them in the right direction. But a lot of them start off with just an initial consultation with me, right? We do 45 minutes on a Zoom call. We go through kind of what their immediate issue is, right? What is the area that they're needing the most help in? And I ask them, what is it what is the outcome that you want or that you're hoping for, let's say in the next 6 months? What is your goal, right? Because that helps me to navigate and to guide them in the proper direction. If they're like, I'm so frustrated, I just don't know how to communicate, I'm being bombarded by calls and messages, I'm being harassed, right? That's a very different scenario versus, this person is never exercising their parenting time. And when they do, then they withhold calls, right? It's a different case. So I base everything off of it's a case by case scenario. I then provide a recommendation after our initial call for continued services with me. That could be any of, let's work for a few weeks together, up to 8 weeks together total. Maybe joining my community. I have an excellent community of like-minded parents who are all surviving the same things as you, where you get more support from than just me. I do group coaching in that community. I do it on a monthly basis. And then I have clients that just want communication coaching. And they'll have access to me Monday through Friday. I do try to give myself some rest on the weekends so that I can spend time with my children. But they have access to me and it's in real time. They send me their messages. I help them navigate the messages and I help draft responses. And then I start to have them draft the responses and go on their own.
Oh, I think that's amazing. Like what a variety of a variety of services that you're using to help people. I think that's amazing. And is this something that you like do now full time in just this type of coaching?
I do. I would say that I run my business full time now. I still work part time as a paralegal. And that was a decision that was not easy for me to reach, to step down from being a paralegal. I think a lot of people don't recognize that most of the attorney work is done by a paralegal, and you get really attached to these things, right? And I love the legal process. I love working in the legal field. So I think I hold on to that also so I can kind of keep up to date with new things, with new changes in law, even though I work in kind of civil litigation, injury law. It's a very different area. But again, there are a lot of similarities.
I think that's amazing. And I love how you said that you make sure that, there are people are available Monday through Friday, but you do allow yourself the weekend to rest and, spend time with your children, which I think is one of the things that as parents, and like a single parent, like I remember I was a product of divorce too. And I remember my mom just hustling and working all these variety of jobs and stuff. But she always made sure that like on the weekends she rested. And I think that that's important because when we're always trying to push and we're always trying to survive and do all these things, we can get burnt out so easily and stuff. And
Yeah.
so I think that's important. Um, I would love to, as we wrap up, like how could people get a hold of you? You did mention TikTok, and so I was just kind of curious. When you find a lot of people from TikTok, do you talk a lot about these things on your TikTok?
I do on my TikTok and my Instagram. It's very much the same content. They can find me I'm the same name everywhere. It's Coach_Bridget B. And I'll provide you with that so you can share it with your listeners. But yeah, a lot of people watch my content for quite some time and they're like, I'm implementing all of the things you're talking about. So I provide a lot of free help via my content, via my podcast. I talk about a plethora of different topics. And a lot of them come from clients that I'm working with on a regular basis, or maybe a message or a comment that's come in from somebody. Hey, can you make a video about this? Could you make a video about that? And I do.
I think that's awesome. Even though you do provide a lot of free content, there's always that one case, right, where a situation where somebody needs the next level, and just to be able to train like the communication piece alone. You can read a book, you can use these things, but also to have somebody like we need feedback and we also need accountability sometimes too. So
Yes.
having that part where you can, it's better than like, AI and chat GPT and all these things because you're actually like, hey, this is the law or this is what I recommend and this is based on my 21 years of experience, right? And I think that's really
Exactly.
helpful that you provide
Thank you.
that.
Yeah, I think that it is helpful to also not. I think ChatGPT AI is a wonderful tool. If you're not using it in the year 2025, you're going to be left behind, right? Learn how to utilize the tool, but also people recognize when something is AI. right? And so understanding that and how can I tweak this? But you have to have a general foundation of knowing how to write a message, knowing how to approach something versus just going at it willy-nilly, because AI is only as good as the information that you're giving it.
Yeah, I think that's important. And so, all the things that you've navigated, the you've got two divorces, but you got four amazing children out of it. I love one of the things that you shared is that no matter what has happened, you wouldn't choose a different father for your children or any of those things. And I think that that's what's really important. And I meant to hit on that earlier is that when we go through challenges in life and we go through all these things, I think that there's a reason why we go through them. It's in order to help others. And you have used probably some of your hardest moments in your life, your pain that you had went through, for your purpose. And that is to help others by providing them the services, the tools, the resources that they need. And one of the things I was just a little bit curious about is because I hear a lot about people who've divorced narcissistic people. Does it ever end the battle that you have to face with them? Or once you start to communicate them in this different type of way, does it eventually stop? Just curious.
Yeah, great question. I'm asked all of the time, does this get better? It does get better over time, right? And it's a lot of learning how to communicate better, learning how to let go of a lot of things that we don't need to be holding on to, and recognizing that we cannot control our ex's behavior. We cannot control them, nor are they ever going to be that person that we hope that they are, right? And so I think it's kind of a compilation of all of those things, taking that into account. Um, it really is what puts you into this next level form of thinking, a lot of reframing, but they do get tired. They will stop writing you as often. They will stop harassing you as much when you start to let go and like, oh, this is not really important. I'm just going to respond to the kids will be ready at 6 p.m. for pickup, right? Letting things go, not defending yourself in writing and not using your communication as a way to document what's happening in your case and learning how to document privately. I teach a lot of that.
Oh, I think that's awesome. Well, I'm super excited for people to connect with you. I think that what you're providing is a very valuable tool that I don't remember. Like, I remember my mom going through, her divorce, and I don't remember if it was bad or not because I was really little. But I hear a lot of people who have that battle and have been like, I have a friend who's been through it, like she's like 6 or 7 years on her case of just battling the custody and things like that. And I think that if she was to work with you others who are going through this, if they were to work with you and learn the proper communication instead of paying this $20,000 for a lawyer and all these
Yep.
other things that they cost, I think that'll help them get a lot further. And if it, and also just helps with the whole communication. I think that all of us can learn better communication in every aspect of our lives. We have to communicate everywhere we go. So
Me
to learn
too.
the best way to communicate, I think is powerful. So thank you for
It
all
is.
the things you're providing.
You're very
Well,
welcome.
one of the things I always love to do is ask my guest, what is a way, a book, a word, an action, a phrase, a quote that you live by, anything that you would think you would recommend that they do today in order to help them refine and shine?
Um, there's two things, but one, I keep it as the background on my phone, and it's been that way for years since I was going through my divorce. And it says, "You are stronger than all of your fears combined."
Mm.
And on my hardest of days, when you feel like giving up, you keep going, right? When you feel like you have nothing left to give, you're going to pull yourself up, you're going to dust yourself off, and you're going to keep going. And for as hard as it might feel and seem, don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. The word resilience I have tattooed on my arm. So anytime I feel like quitting, I look down and it's right there on my arm for me to look at because we're very pliable, we're flexible, we're bendable, but we're not breakable.
Mhm. I love that. I love that. That's so good.
Thank you.
I really like that. So thank you for everything, all that you have provided, and I just appreciate everything that you're doing, how you're doing this service, and you provide a lot of content for free through your social media platforms, you're using that to help others. But if they need that more deeper connection so that they can continue to properly communicate, I will definitely make sure that they reach out to you. And I hope that you get, maybe one day, hopefully you'll get somebody in Alaska. But I think what you do, like I was just saying, it's just a great thing that you're doing, because there's so many people out there who are so fearful and they of just doing taking the action that you've been able to take. And I think that having somebody on the other side who's been there and been through the things and can teach others, I think that what you're doing is a great service. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's Parker Posey. How did I get here? I love improvisation when it comes to acting, but when it comes to a real life plan, I stick to a script. Cue the music.
Invest in your story with DIA, the only ETF that tracks the Dow. From State Street. Getting there starts here. Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Visit statestreet.com/IM for prospectus containing this and other information. Read it carefully. DIA is subject to risks similar to those of stocks. All ETFs are subject to risk, including possible loss of principal. Alps Distributors, Inc. Distributor.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Refine and Shine. We hope you find valuable insights and inspiration to fuel your journey of continuous improvement. Remember, the key to success lies in refining your processes and letting your inner brilliance shine. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated and helps us reach more listeners like you who are eager to refine and shine in all areas of life. Stay connected with us on social media for updates and additional resources and behind-the-scenes content. We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to reach out with any suggestions, questions, or success stories you'd like to share. As we wrap up, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Keep striving for growth, embracing change, and seeking opportunities to refine your skills. Together, let's continue to shine bright and make a positive impact in the world. Until next time, keep refining and keep shining.